Welcome to Generous Impact. I'm your host, Amanda Brummett, and my co-host today is Tracy Daniels from the Generous Benefits team. Our guest is Jacob Johnson, founder and CEO of Calyan Wax Co, a candle company with a striking mission to help end human trafficking in the U.S. In today's conversation, we'll explore why he started Calyan and what it takes to keep mission front and center while growing a company. Jacob, thank you for being here and making time to chat with Tracy and I today about your story. I'd love it before we get into Calyan, if you could just start by telling us who you are personally and professionally.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here. Jacob Johnson, the founder and CEO of Calyan Wax Company. And I am married. I've got 2 kids. I've been married for now 8 years and I've got 2 kids, 4-year-old boy, 2-year-old daughter. And we're just in a sweet stage right now. It's a blast at home. We're doing a lot of fun stuff, a lot of Legos, a lot of wrestling, a lot of spilled milk. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like to hunt. I like to be active outdoors, working out, like a good coffee, a lot of coffee shops, and good meals with friends. Who doesn't love that? So those are some sweet times too.
Okay, so you go to work to get a break.
Oh man, I wish I could say that, but both sides are pretty intense. Home is nice. Home is nice. My wife, incredible stay-at-home mom, and so home can be an escape. And I'd much rather be wrestling with my son than wrestling with a vendor on a delayed shipment or whatever the day's challenge may be.
Yeah, for sure. And before we dive into all the good work you guys are doing, I am curious, since you're in DFW, what are your go-to coffee places?
Well, day to day, I'm in Arlington, Mansfield area. I live in Mansfield. And so we've got a couple local shops that I go back and forth from. And then when I need something quick, Starbucks, not afraid to go grab a cappuccino at Starbucks. But then when I get out to Fort Worth, that's when I can have, a little bit more of that craft coffee experience. Cherry coffee, Sun's Coffee, Roots Coffee House.
So much good coffee in DFW.
Yeah, in Dallas too. Every once in a while I get out to Dallas, I'll try something new. I was just at Pax and Beneficia after a Stars game, so that was a good cappuccino as well.
Oh, yeah, we know the folks over there. Great coffee and great company.
Yeah, great brand. I got a lot of respect for them for sure.
Well, thanks for indulging me in coffee talk before we get on to a very serious topic.
So, Jacob, do you define what human trafficking is for them?
Absolutely. And I'm going to use the legal definition just to be like super clear. I think it reads really well and encompasses what's going on when we say human trafficking. So human trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or even coercion to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex act. So it is the broad term over labor and sex trafficking. And it is not just forced bondage. It also, if they can prove out some fraud, manipulation, or even coercion. And that's what we see a lot of, especially with young people, not necessarily being kidnapped though at times. But the story I hear over and over again is especially online coercion or some sort of fraud that's exploiting someone in a vulnerable state. So that is a clear way to think about human trafficking.
Yeah. And I think we often, or at least in my mind, I go to young girls immediately. But as I understand, this is not a gender specific, race specific, even socioeconomic specific issue.
The data still is skewed towards
Mhm.
more female than male, and then I don't want to speak into the demographics. I don't have that data right in front of me, but there are certain demographics that are being trafficked at a higher rate when you look at it purely just data. But yes, you can. The safe blanket statement is it is exactly what you said. It's affecting all walks of life.
So, Jacob, how did the idea for Calyan Wax Company come about?
Like a lot of things, it's accumulation of multiple events throughout my life, starting when I was probably a child. God works in that way. He's crafting your story together, and then it comes to different fruitions. And so I always share a couple highlight bigger moments that led me down this path of starting a candle company that donates to fight human trafficking. That's not an everyday thought, and it's a kind of unique combination there. So number one is just God's given me a heart for justice, a heart to pursue righteousness, pursue justice. And when I see things wrong in the world, it on a healthy standpoint, grinds my gears and I want to do something about it. So that's just like innate to my being, to my soul, and specifically human trafficking, which I'm sure we'll get into, study that issue for a few minutes, especially youth sex trafficking, which is a tough subject, but that really is where we're focused. Man, it'll break you down, and it'll make you, at least ponder, should I do something about this? Can I do something about this? And for me, it's like, I will do something about this, and I just don't know the exact fruition of it. And so just innate longing for justice, entrepreneurial spirit since day one, from slinging Starburst on a school bus when I was really little, all the high school gigs of, doing manual labor for people, into college, t-shirt company that had a give back component called Raising Justice. Me and Buddy started it. We sold T-shirts and donated basically all our money away to different nonprofits in the human trafficking space, anti-slavery space, and then just getting to not getting, but experiencing, hearing from people that have been abused in that manner and the struggles they have in life and just the trauma that it produces is seems to be it's a lifelong journey of healing, and that just like again just kind of breaks your heart. It makes you like want that not to be the case, especially if you know them and you're really close. And so all those factors together have led me down this path of starting a social impact business, combination of longing for justice, of entrepreneurship. And it's kind of a beautiful combination of those two things. And I'll cap it off there. I could go forever. There's so much life that has happened, but those are the high levels.
Jacob, it's so impressive. I suspected that you were young, and I just confirmed now that I've seen your face. Everybody, Jacob looks like a baby. I won't, who knows how old you actually are, but you look really young. But
Yeah.
to be a young man and to see that issue and have just the wherewithal and the fortitude to go, I can actually do something about that. That is so remarkable. What do you think gave you that drive?
Mm, good question. Probably starting off on how I grew up and the work ethic that my parents just built within me. Then I think also just how God's wired me, and then honestly, some of it's just like hopefully most of it's righteous. Who knows? But just some anger. Anger is a good motivation. I saw people get abused. I saw people in power take advantage of vulnerable situations, and that made me mad. And so I wanted to do something about it. So, and I'm action oriented as I get, somewhat older, still a little bit young, depends on who you compare me to. But I found out you do got to think through some stuff, but sometimes you just need to do stuff. And there are times for that. And that's generally my general bend. And so I just started, doing stuff out of hopefully a fairly righteous anger and motivation to protect, to fight for.
Nice. And the young is a compliment, by the way. To be both
Yeah, I
young and
appreciate it.
wise is incredible.
I don't know about the wise part back. Yes, on the age that I take it as a compliment, and thank you. Just imagine me if I didn't have any facial hair, you would be like, "Am I talking to a child right now?"
Yeah, sometimes a lot of people don't really recognize the significance of it until they have kids either. So for you to be young and to see this and want to bring awareness to it and help even pre-kiddos, I think is a big deal because it's there before kids and after. But sometimes, we're kind of in this bubble until we've got kids that now we're concerned. I've got two daughters. I definitely talk to them about all of these dangers and how to be careful. But for a lot of people, that doesn't come until they have children. So I admire that absolutely in you.
I appreciate it. This has been very encouraging. Thank you guys. And yes, once you have kids, it's like as if I needed more fuel on the fire, but it added more, of course. Absolutely.
Definitely. And you guys have done amazing. Calyan has donated nearly 900,000 to the cause. And I know you guys plan to hit the 1 million mark in 2026. That's huge. Can you share how those incredible donations have helped people?
Absolutely. That's what I love talking about most. And so we're a give back company. So we produce and sell home fragrance products, and then we donate 5% of our pre tax profit to not just anybody and not just to like a general cause. We're donating it to trusted, vetted, smaller nonprofits where we can see exact impacts and we can build relationship with and hold accountable and have a lot of visibility into the impact. Last thing we want to do is go to all this trouble to create this company and build it out and actually produce something that people want and all the challenge of business and then have our dollars go to waste. That's like my nightmare. And so we've gotten to donate to now 6 different nonprofits. This last year, we donated to 4 of them, and they're now we're not just in Texas, so we have one nonprofit out in California, one nonprofit that does work in a variety of states all over the country, and then 2 here in Texas. But it quickly becomes a national thing. So they're still work, even if they're based in Texas, they're still doing work across state lines in a variety of ways. And the general idea or framework that I allot donations to is we want to fund different aspects of the fight against human trafficking. So it's definitely not all just like kicking down doors and physically rescuing people. In some ways, that would be like a little simpler actually, but there's so many other facets to it, and it's very nuanced. And so we're funding a nonprofit justice defense fund. It's fighting online exploitation and requiring like proposing and getting laws passed where you've got to verify age and consent on online materials, which is just a little bit of a safeguard for people that are being exploited, especially young people. And we're funding down in Austin, Allies Against Slavery. They're on the data side, so helping states actually have consistent, organized, shared data on the type of trafficking and people that are at risk of being trafficked, like what's happening in their state, so they can form better laws and nonprofits can have better data to go off of. Because it's a hidden issue. It's a tough issue to have data on. Traffic 911, they're in victim care services, family care services, wrapping around people that have been trafficked and helping to stabilize the home because that can be so tough. The network, they're a new partner for us this last year, but they're focused on the illicit massage business in a variety of states and coming at it from more of an attorney general's office. And they go in and put pressure on landlords to say, hey, there's suspected activity happening in your properties. You'd be wise to get that out of there. So that's been really cool. So I'll stop there. But a lot of impact. And that's all from people choosing to buy one of our products. That small purchase in aggregate now with hundreds of thousands of people over our lifetime has led to actual impact. And so it's really cool just to connect that dots. Our hope is to bridge the gap of I want to do something about human trafficking. I don't know what to do. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the expertise. And we say, hey, you can take a part. You can become a social advocate in this area by simply choosing our candle when you're in wherever you're shopping at a grocery store, online, or on Amazon. So that's just really special.
Yeah, most definitely. And I appreciate how you touch so many facets of the problem that, yeah, you're right. It's not just breaking down doors. It's then helping prevent it. It's helping get people back to some semblance of a normal life afterwards. And so it's really neat that you take that approach and that you're such a good fiduciary of those dollars and so thoughtful about where they go. This is not a commercial for the Wax Candle Company, but as a quasi granola human, I also feel compelled to point out to people that you, for whatever reason, have chosen the way you make your candles is very clean and very natural. And do you want to give us the spiel on that?
Absolutely, because it ties into the social mission. It's all one brand. We are here to uplift, to bring warmth, to bring freedom, all that ethos trickles down into the type of products we're selling. Like last thing we want to do is sell a toxic product that's, super cheap or something and that's going to be not uplifting to your home or to just your physical well-being. And so that flies in the face. And so it's all connected under one, some macro themes of service to others, others before ourselves, uplifting, freedom, all of that. And so the product we're very intentional with too. Care a lot about it. We're not going to be the cheapest candle. We're not a luxury candle brand. We do our best to be approachable for as many people as possible to give you the opportunity to take part in the mission. But we are really intentional with how we put the product together. And that's led us to, yeah, it's a cleaner burning candle than a majority of the products out there. And we are pursuing getting even, it's kind of a subjective word, cleaner or more non-toxic, but being even more selective in what ingredients we allow in the fragrance. And we're excited that's coming down this year, and we'll present that out and trying to lead the industry to say, hey, we're going to spend even more time thoughtfully curating the ingredient list.
I think you guys in general, you just radiate intention in everything that you do. You can see it in the way you interact with people. You can see it in, I love that you're attacking this, from every aspect so that you're going to make a bigger impact. But it's very obvious how intentional you are in everything that you do, and I really respect that and appreciate it.
I'm glad that is your experience and what you're seeing from the brand. That's what people can expect. They can expect to be served really well, very quickly, and also with high intention and a desire to serve well. Right? It's in our blood over here at Calyan. Go to the nth degree to make sure your experience is everything you expect and hopefully more.
Yeah. So, Jacob, when you think about the big issue of human trafficking, it can get overwhelming quickly. There's so many different facets of it. And I'm curious how you keep a smile on your face and a positive attitude. I mean, I know that you guys are doing good work every single day, but how do you not get beat down that, every time one thing gets fixed that there's a new problem or a new scheme? How do you stay positive?
Mm. Yes, it's a great question because it is just a dogfight in business. It's kind of twofold. One, the issue of human trafficking is extremely dark and evil, but then also just operating a business and trying to gain market share and have a good culture and serve customers really well. There's a lot there, and so it is tough. The day in and day in is extremely tough, and there's seasons that is extra tough, and then there's seasons where it's just like, yeah, this is good. There's a good tension here, but we're managing it well. And so, first and foremost, for me, a person of faith, it's my faith in Jesus Christ and His ultimate plan and purpose for my life, His love, the salvation He's gifted and given me for free, the grace, and just a relationship, the perfect fatherhood, the leader He is in my life, and so He equips me, walking with Him daily. He equips me to handle and respond more like Him versus, if I left to my own devices, I'll just be angry and short and mean and all the things that I'm very capable of being. And so that's my uh, how I endure, how I endure pain without going crazy. And so I haven't gone crazy yet. 9 years into business, I feel crazy sometimes, but I have this like solid foundation that I consistently, if I'm wise, am leaning into. And then just day to day, one of our core values is called PTE. I know it sounds like a type of plastic or something, but it means positive, tenacious, expectant. And constantly, preaching that out and trying to exude it myself. There is a superpower or a control we can have of remaining positive through tough times. And I tell the team, it's not a false positive like we're in La La Land. It's we are just approaching the day's challenges with a default to positivity. But we don't. That's where the tenacious comes in. We don't ignore the problems. Like no, we tenaciously run after them and we go solve them. And it's gonna be grimy and confusing and annoying, and we're gonna get kind of mad about it. But it has that spirit of positivity really helps us do that. And then we have hope. One, there's a faith hope, and then there's a hope like, hey, if we keep at this long enough, we can be expectant that things will get better. And we can have hope that there's light at the end of this tunnel. This is just a season. We will get through this together. And so I think that kind of spirit and that type of camaraderie within the team helps us sustain. And what I'm learning as as I am on this journey of building out a team and building out a leadership team is primary focus of mine is that the more you do hard stuff together, the more bond you have, the more trust increases. And so that's been really cool too. So leaning into the team to answer it shortly, Jesus and team.
That's really beautiful.
So, Jacob, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs if they're wanting to build a business with purpose, but they're worried maybe the mission will slow growth or that the growth will dilute the mission? What would your advice be to them?
Mm, yes, there's a great tension here that I have learned over the years, and I'd want to sit down with this person and really audit if they are up for having the tension of a double bottom line of having the ultimate aim of this business be socially impactful and produce value for shareholders and profit to be generous with to employees and all of that. Like both are really, really good. And I believe in both of them, the power they can be, obviously, in good, generous hands. But it's such a tension and it is so difficult to manage between the two because even in your marketing message, you kind of have to blend it all together. And are we like plain product or are we social impact? Like, what's our pitch? Well, it's kind of both. And we're going to blend it together. And then, hey, is our net end to be really profitable and produce shareholder value, or is it to be really socially impactful? And for us, the answer is yes and yes. Well, how do you do both of those? And it just produces another level of complexity to the business. So I'll stop there. I get long winded on that, but I would really audit. I would think very hard if you're up for that. And depending on the answer, let's say it's no, I would choose one or the other. And I would go create a fantastic, excellent for-profit business that produces just insane amounts of product and takes care of everyone within the organization. And out of that abundance, I'd be really generous. Or I'd start a nonprofit. Uh, and so that may not be the answer you're looking for. It sounds a little pessimistic. It's literally not what I'm doing at Calyan, but I've learned and I've been through it, and it's the route we're going with Calyan. And so, hey, that's the task at hand, and we're going to continue to do it faithfully. And I think we're doing it pretty darn well, but it is tough.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. You've chosen a harder road. You've got to be a little bit better because you're already giving some of your margin away. And so, what would be a normal company's reserves, maybe you've got to keep a little bit more. And so, yeah, I applaud the effort. Keep doing it.
Mm, you're exactly right. Yes, thanks.
Okay. Well, you gave us a little bit of preview about getting cleaner. I'm using air quotes for people that can't see me. But what's next for Calyan Wax? What new impact goals or business objectives are you guys working towards?
The biggest one on social impact is hit that $1 million mark, and we're going to deploy that, really faithfully, and we're going to share all the impact, the stories, the lives being changed. I say the next stage for Callian is honestly learning how to do business at a new level. So we are constantly learning. There's just more sophistication, more professionalization, more process, redone process. So since the beginning, I'm like, all right, we're building the foundation so we can scale. Well, we've been scaling, and now it's like, whoa, okay, we're building another foundation on top of that foundation to scale more. And so I'd say what's next for us is us learning how to do business at a new scale and be really good operators for the sake of serving our customers at a new level of scale. That's not like a super like fun answer. Beyond that, just macro is we're pursuing being a home fragrance brand that is a leader nationwide, not just in size, but also in standards and in level of service and reputation. So we're in the business of scaling an operationally excellent, clean home fragrance brand that's known for our consistency, our reliability, and our commitment to funding the fight against human trafficking. And so give us another 10 years running after that. And man, I'm excited and I'm bullish. I think we'll win. Not out of like I want to. I have a little bit of competitiveness to me, and I like winning. But it's more of hey, I think the market rewards people doing it the slow burn right way, not chasing a fad or being a gimmick, but day in and day out, consistent execution, consistently showing up, having this reliability that's just unique. I see it out there in the market. And so give us another 10 years of serving the market consistently. Obviously, we got to figure out products and some other stuff. Got to make sure we do that right. I think we're gonna be a leader. I think throughout the country, hopefully you'll have heard our name.
Yeah. All of that, I think to an outside person might sound boring, but to somebody that's running a business, like that's the good stuff. That's what keeps your doors open. That's what turns you into a Chick-fil-A down the road. Their training isn't fancy. It's consistent. And that's big stuff. You mentioned
Absolutely.
you mentioned that national kind of footprint. You're already in some pretty big places though right now, right? I think I saw that I can buy your stuff at Whole Foods?
Yes. So the scale national thing is definitely happening through a variety of retailers, Whole Foods being our largest that we've been partnered with them since 2019. And it's just been an absolute delight to scale and present the brand now nationally in all Whole Foods stores. Sprouts as well. They're another player. Our sweet spot is a natural grocer. If you shop there, you're going to really appreciate our products. If you're looking for social impact, looking for good uplifting for your home products. We hope to be in that retailer, and so Whole Foods, Sprouts, and I could go off throughout the list. A lot of other regional accounts throughout, and then online, of course, through Amazon, through our own website. The goal is to be where you shop, and so yeah, those have been exciting partnerships.
Yeah, I think 10 years I think you guys are going to be just in an amazing place. I love when I see articles about you guys, or, I know recently you had a Star Telegram article that was done, and it's so inspiring. And just to see how much growth you guys have, I think 10 years, I will be very excited to see where you guys are and where you're going, and what, the next 10 years is going to look like, because I think this is just going to be just a huge success. It already is. You inspire our team, you inspire, I think, everybody that, is able to interact with you. And I'm curious, who inspires you? Are there certain organizations or certain people? Who would you say inspires you the most?
Hmm. I'll start with the easy layup, but there's a lot of depth with it. Okay, and it's my mom. So my mom's a single mom of five, a faithful believer and follower of Jesus Christ, a servant heart, and a consistent worker. Like a consistent, like she just is faithful, and the work ethic that I have is so much due to her. And so, yes, she just continues to inspire me with just decades of faithfulness and consistency. I admire that so much. And beyond my mom, I value a lot of the like Christian leadership guys out there. So like Craig Rochelle, I know I'm in good company there, but his ability to clearly communicate and be succinct and build up leaders is just remarkable. And every time I listen to one of his podcasts, I come away with just like, that is actually applicable. That is actually what I'm going through. I actually can apply that to my life versus it's just like too theoretical. And so that I could go on with those kind of guys, but there's a handful of those that I'm following pretty consistently that just help build up leadership. And then there's a lot of personal friends and mentors that I could go on a long time about that have just helped me sustain, help me guide. Just as a young leader, I feel young, especially now where we're really being intentional about building a leadership team. Everybody's older than me. Everybody has more experience. I'm the ambitious founder, but I'm a little crazy, a little young. I feel it. I feel the inadequacies. And so it's good to be just poured into and to be reminded, hey, God's got you here for a reason. He will equip you to accomplish the task at hand and to have to maintain some healthy confidence, right?
I love that you mentioned your mom because as we were talking earlier about your journey and sort of hitting fast forward on that, I kept thinking some really good humans or human must have been part of Jacob's life early on. And so now you've given us the answer.
That's who it is. That's who it is.
'Cause most of us just aren't born with that inherently. We've got to learn it from somewhere. Although maybe you're a mix of those people.
Yeah, having like psychoanalyzed that, the safe bet's probably a good healthy mix, right? But it's undoubt like you can't doubt the impact that my mom has had.
That's awesome.
Well, I know you made her day. From Amanda and I are both moms. That is the thing that moms love to hear. So I know that has to just mean the world to her.
Yeah.
Yes, she gets it. I think she hears that in a variety of podcasts or news articles or just yeah, in person. as well, of course, directly. But yes, I love to encourage her that way. And then I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my wife, Cameron. Cameron with a K. We got married. I asked her to marry me the day I launched pre-orders for Calyan in May of 2017, and I we got married 6 months into launching the business, and there's a ton of uncertainty there. And since then, and even through dating, like she's just been a staple and just been consistent and been a sounding board and just believed in me. Like she just never there was never like, oh my goodness, should I do this candle thing? Like go get a real job. Like there's just been none of that over the years. And that's like I'm learning that's so unique. She's just been faithful to believe that this thing will work. And that has been like if I didn't have that, I probably would have I wouldn't quit, but a spouse being misaligned, maybe. So that has just been a huge blessing as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, so were you guys like making candles in the garage in the beginning?
Our dating life was making candles in a bedroom. I didn't even
A
graduate to
bedroom.
the garage. It was just literally in the bedroom. I was living at my mom's house, and she would get off work and come make candles on a dresser. And then lots of farmers markets. Started a candle company in the heat of summer in Texas. So we just sweated a lot and carried a lot of candles and spilled wax. And she just was a part of just that early grind, which is like especially
Oh,
fun.
yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot in the beginning. A lot of hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, right? Trying to get everything off the ground.
Yes.
Most definitely. Wow. Well, Jacob, if people have heard your story today and are feeling inspired that they want to somehow help your organization, what can they do?
Well, the obvious answer is to buy some product and buy a lot of it if it meets your expectations, and we hit the mark in service and in quality, and then quickly, or simultaneously, is to engage with the nonprofits we're partnered with. We can vouch for them and donate directly to them. Write big checks, check in with them, hold them accountable. Sometimes there's volunteer opportunities in this world. It's less compared to other social missions, but you can check in with them and support them. They need it. Nonprofits in general, it's a tough environment right now for them. Just macroeconomic stuff, policy stuff, all those things. Funds are tight. And so any bit of generosity to these nonprofits will be just extra blessing. And honestly, it's how they do the work. It's pretty factual or objective. Like they need funds to sustain the work. So it's not just an emotional blessing. It literally keeps them being impactful and keeping evil at bay in some ways, right? And so those would be sorry, one more thing actually would be to audit your own life. I
Mm,
always have to share that. Audit your own behaviors, your own online behaviors, how you're parenting your kids, and safeguards there. I don't think you can really over respond there too much. Like obviously there'll be tension and it'll be tough, but eh, and you don't need to be paranoid, but you do need to be wise. And there's a lot of traps out there, and so you just need to audit your own self and how you're leading your family, and be wise.
that is all beautiful advice. Well, Jacob, thank you for taking something really crummy and seeing it and saying, I can do something to make this a little bit less crummy, and then putting your life and your effort and your family into it. But also thank you for always being a bright spot for the Generous Benefits team. I often hear how much they enjoy working with your team and just how delightful everybody there is. So thank you for both of those and for taking the time to chat with Tracy and I today.
You're very welcome. Likewise, thank you guys for the opportunity to talk about Calyan and social impact and everything we talked about. It's some of my favorite times.
Thank you for joining us on Generous Impact. I'm grateful to Jacob Johnson for sharing how Calyan Wax Company uses product, profit, and purpose to bring light to the darkness of human trafficking. If you were inspired by today's conversation, consider what small step you can make, whether founding a mission-driven business, partnering with a nonprofit, or simply choosing to purchase differently. Real impact is often found in ordinary decisions turned intentional. Until next time, keep making a generous impact.